Welcome. Welcome back. Today we'll talk about resolving few very commonly occurring exception, illegal state exception and session not created exception that we come across very often while running our Selenium test cases. We'll also talk about the different ways to configure Selenium browser driver executables using system.set properties, environment variable and web.manager. We will talk about how to verify an already downloaded browser driver supports which version of Chrome browser. Welcome to Quick Auto. I am Monalisa Panda. Here we talk about automation testing tools and supported languages. Let's go ahead with the topic. First we'll talk about how to set browser driver executable path using system.set property. As we have already discussed in my previous video, browser drivers are executable or binary files that are provided by the third-party browser companies. They are not developed by Selenium automation testers. So, to use browser drivers to interact with browsers, we need to configure them or we need to include them in our code somewhere. So, the first method to include it in our code is using system.set property. System.set property takes two parameters. Name of the specific browser, this is called as key. Here I want to automate Chrome driver, that is why I have provided webdriver.chrome.driver. In case I want to automate for IE driver, I need to provide the key as webdriver.ie.driver. The second parameter is path of the browser driver. This is very important. The full path of the browser driver executable or binary files which is present in your machine. In case of any mismatch in the path, you will get exceptions. I have copied the path from my machine, from my physical machine where the browser driver is existing, and here in the second parameter I have pasted that path. I have also included chrome driver.exe. In case of any mismatch in this path, or in case you are not providing chrome driver.exe in Windows machine, then you are going to get exception. This is the code where we discussed about how to write your first test case in Selenium. Here I have put the Selenium browser driver executable full path. It will now try to open the browser. It will put YouTube in the search box, search the page and then print the title and wait for 3 seconds, then we'll close it. It runs successfully. In the previous video of how a complete absolute beginner can write his first test case in Selenium, I have discussed each line of this program. What does it mean and what is it doing? I'll link that video somewhere in the info and description box as well. Please go through it to have a better understanding. Now we'll see how the same purpose, setting the path of the browser driver binaries, can be achieved through environment variables. I will do so by modifying environment variable. Inside system variable, I will modify the path property. I will add a new path where I will copy the physical path. I will copy the path from my physical machine where the Chrome driver is existing, and I will paste it here and apply the changes. Now coming back to program, as we have already set path of the browser driver executable using environment variable, I will comment the system.set property line which is repeatable, and I will run the program again. It will run successfully, open the browser, Google and then type YouTube, wait for 3 seconds and will print the test passed and title of the page. Now we'll see what is session not created exception, why it occurs and how to resolve it. Version of the real browser should match with the version browser driver supports. Here in my machine, version of Chrome installed is 92. If you will go to Selenium official website and will check for the documentation of the browser drivers available for Chrome, you can see browser drivers. There are different browser drivers available that supports different browser version. Browser driver that supports 92 version is different and that supports 91 version of Chrome is different. Now coming back to program, I will modify the system.set property path and will provide the path of Chrome driver which supports only Chrome version 87. However, in my machine, the Chrome version available is 92. Now I will run the program again after pointing to the Chrome driver, which doesn't support the Chrome version present in my machine. Here I got an exception, and the exception message said I am trying to open Chrome driver 87 and my current browser version is 91. So concluding, now we know session not created exception occurs when the browser driver we included or configured in our machine was not able to start a browser session. That happens because of version mismatch between the browser driver and the real browser. Hence, solution to session not created exception is use browser driver that is compatible with the browser version available in your machine. Now we'll talk about what is illegal state exception, why it occurs, and how it can be resolved. There are multiple reasons for which illegal state exception occurs. One of them is when we do not specify path of the browser driver. Let's see about it. Till now we have talked about two traditional ways of setting your browser driver, that is using system.setProperty and using environment variables. Now I will delete the environment variable and comment the system.setProperty line via which I was setting the path of the browser driver, and will run the program. Then you can see I am again getting the illegal state exception error. The next reason why illegal state exception occurs is when complete path is not specified. You need to include .exe extension also in case of you are using Windows machine. In case of Linux machine, .exe extension is not needed.
Any mismatch in the path you have provided, or in case you have not provided /chrome driver.exe, or only you have forgot to mention the .exe extension, then also you will get the illegal state exception error.
Another reason why illegal state exception occurs is when the key you provided is wrong. System.setProperty, the first parameter is called as key. Any error in the key will give you illegal state exception error. Any mismatch in caps, in small letter, capital letter, will leave you with illegal state exception error. Any mismatch in the key is here we're providing path of Chrome driver, but I am using IE driver as key. Then also I am going to get illegal state exception. Last but not the least reason is when you are initializing WebDriver prior to setting driver path. Like here, I have placed the system.setProperty line post initialization of WebDriver. Hence, I'll get the exception. To have a successful run, I will rectify all the reasons for which I was getting the exception. I will place the system.setProperty line prior to initialization of WebDriver. I will correct the key and will specify proper path including .exe extension. Now the program will run successfully without any exception. Till now we have discussed about two different ways to configure Selenium browser driver executables or binaries, that is using system.setProperty and through environment variable. Both these methods are considered as traditional ways because they needs manual download of browser drivers, and also manually the automation tester needs to go ahead and set the path of the drivers. As and when the browser version is updated, which happens very often in our machine nowadays, again matching driver executables needs to be downloaded manually. So this creates a overhead for automation testers, and many times this creates exceptions in our program.
To overcome these issues, we have an option, that is, we need to use WebDriver Manager, which automatically manages the download of browser driver according to the version of the browser that we have in our machine. And we don't need to manually provide path of the driver anywhere in our code. So Selenium provides us with a WebDriver Manager class that automates this process for us and allow us to concentrate on Selenium scripts rather than on browser settings. Let's talk about what is WebDriver Manager and how it can be configured. The WebDriver Manager jars can be included in our program through pom.xml via a Maven project. So let's first create a Maven project. I selected project, new project, Maven project. Then I browsed to the path. I provided group ID, artifact ID, and selected yes. A new Maven project is now created. This is a new project. This doesn't understand Selenium. That is why I need to download Selenium Java dependencies, Maven dependencies, and will paste that inside my pom.xml to enable my project to understand Selenium. So I'll go to Maven Central repository and I will download the latest. I will copy the Maven path, Maven dependency for the latest stable version of the Selenium Java jars. And I'll put that inside my dependencies in pom.xml. I'll do the same for WebDriver Manager class. Inside Maven Central repository, I will search for WebDriver Manager class. I will select the Maven dependency path for the latest stable version of WebDriver Manager and I'll paste that inside my pom.xml so that my project will now be enabled to understand WebDriver Manager and also it will have the capabilities of WebDriver Manager class. Now this is the view of my pom.xml having Selenium Java jars and WebDriver Manager jars. I will reuse the same code that I have used while demoing system.setProperty. Hence, I'll copy the code and paste it in a new class in the new Maven project. After pasting it, the code looks like so. I will modify the same program and use WebDriver Manager instead in here. I will comment both the system.setProperty lines now they are no more needed. We will do the same process through WebDriver Manager. I'll write WebDriver Manager.ChromeDriver.setup, which will take care of all the setups. Then I will instantiate the WebDriver. These highlighted three lines are all the changes that we need to do in our program. Now we are ready to run the program without worrying about the browser version available in our machine and the driver version we need to download for it. It will open the Google page. It will enter YouTube in the search box. Wait for 3 seconds, then quit the browser. It ran successfully. That's it in this video. To summarize, we talked about how to resolve illegal state exception and session not created exception that we come across while running our Java Selenium program. We also talked about two traditional ways to set, include or configure Selenium browser driver binaries are executable in our program, that is using system.setProperty and environment variable. We also talked about what are the shortcomings of these traditional ways and how we can overcome those shortcomings using WebDriver Manager. Thank you. If you have any queries, please put that in the comment box. I'll be happy to answer.